Well, what happens the next day is that you move down from first league to fourth league, and you have to apply the EU and UK, which will mirror the EU regime for trade relation between the UK and the continent and with the rest of the countries, which means tariffs, borders, controls, frictions, a big cost to everybody. And I'm not talking about specific arrangements for airlines, capital market regulation, nuclear safety. It's not ready. Nobody is ready for a no deal, which is, by the way, the reason I think it will not happen. I think people will be wise enough not to jump from the cliff without a parachute.
Well, our Brussels correspondent Shona Murray carried out that interview, and I'm joined by her now. Good morning to you, Shona. So we heard stark warnings there from Pascal Lamy, but how did he justify those claims?
Well, of course, you heard him there. He didn't mince his words, and his own personal prediction is that Brexit is going to be delayed. Such is the catastrophe that will ensue if the UK leaves the EU without a deal in place. And one of the things he points to there is tariffs. The implication would be that if the UK leaves without a deal, it will have to apply WTO rules, which is tariffs, taxes on particular goods and particular industries. Agricultural industry, a big exporter, big industry for the UK, would have taxes of up to 35 to 40% applied on them. Same with the motor industry, around 10%. And that would have huge problems for consumers. He also talked about the implications for free trade. You know, at the moment with the single market, everything flows around the European Union and globally very well, very easily, because there's no borders to trade. And that would, with obviously a no-deal scenario, you would have borders. The UK wouldn't be in the single market, and therefore things like fresh foods getting to the UK, getting from the UK to places like the Netherlands, there would be problems there, and you may have issues like fresh food rotting. You could have flowers not getting to their destination in time. And then thirdly, he sort of argued against one of the basic tenets of Brexit, which is the UK on its own in a globalised world and the economies of scale regarding that. Specifically, the UK on its own as a country of 16 million people trying to negotiate a trade agreement with giants like the United States or Japan doesn't have the same sort of might that it would do if it was within the European Union, a union of 500 million people. And of course, we only have to look at the EU-Japan trade agreement for that, the biggest free trade area in the world of 650 million people, and the major reduction of tariffs there. So he sort of questioned why this is a good idea in the first place. Take a listen.
I know that's a view from the Brexit side, that they become independent, they regain control. In a world which is globalizing, integrating, I think it makes absolutely no sense. What would be the sense, the real sense of having a regulation for 60 million people when the world is moving to zones that have regulations for 500 million or 600 million people? It makes no sense. It has a name in economics. It's called diseconomies of scale.